Nest, a large underground research lab owned by Umbrella. This lab was used to create the G virus, a bioweapon designed to rival the T virus. This virus was discovered by Chief Researcher Dr. William Birkin, who managed Nest the whole time he was there. After failing to be promoted to an Umbrella executive and having suspicions that other people within the company were wanting to take the virus for themselves, Birkin refused to send his new findings back to Umbrella's headquarters. Eventually, Umbrella caught onto this and attempted to remove him from the research team and any of his credibility into making the G virus. In light of this, William decided to make negotiations with the US military. A deal was made that meant Birkin and his family, that being his wife, Annette Birkin, and his daughter, Sherry Birkin, would be under protection by the military, and in return, Birkin would allow them to use the G virus so that they could add BOWs to their arsenal. Unfortunately for William, Umbrella had a plan to intervene on this deal, and that plan was Operation Nestwrecker. In today's video, I'll be going over what happened during this mission and the fate of all those involved. Now I should mention there are some slight differences between the original Resident Evil 2 and the remake, but the major parts of the operation are the same, so hopefully there's no confusion. With that out of the way, let's dive into the events of Operation Nestwrecker. Umbrella sent out members of the Umbrella Security Service, or USS for short, to infiltrate Nest. The USS was one of the branches of Umbrella's military and their primary security force, made up of soldiers that were intensively trained to carry out a multitude of tasks. Two teams were used for this operation: Alpha Team, which consisted of Hunk, also known as Grim Reaper, Jay Martinez, A. Kirkpatrick, and a fourth member that after doing some research I couldn't find any information on. And a backup team consisting of Nighthawk, Goblin 6, Miguel, Derek, and Luke. There were two objectives to this mission: secure the samples of the G virus and detain William Birkin. Alpha Team made a swift entrance into William Birkin's research lab, where Birkin, who had anticipated this would happen, was carrying a briefcase containing samples of the virus. After refusing to hand over the briefcase and claiming that this was his life's work, he pulled a gun on Alpha Team, which Martinez quickly responded to by shooting Birkin multiple times. Already, Alpha Team had failed one of their objectives, so all focus was put into getting the samples back to HQ. Unfortunately for them, this was going to be a lot harder than what they had previously expected. Birkin had hidden one of the samples in the G virus inside of his lab coat, and so barely clinging on to life, he injected himself with the sample. And it wasn't long before Alpha Team were being hunted down by a mutated Birkin that was now rampaging through the facility. As what remained of the squad were making their way through the sewers that connected Nest to Raccoon City, Birkin had caught up to them, and even though he was only in his early stages of mutation, he was too much for Alpha Team and the backup team to handle. With the squad suffering heavy losses, including the death of Kirkpatrick, Martinez, Luke, Derek, and Miguel, and with Goblin 6 being injured and left in the sewers, it was now down to Hunk to get the only remaining sample in their possession back to Umbrella's HQ. However, it wasn't just a mutated Birkin that Hunk now had to deal with. If you watch Kirkpatrick's body cam footage, you'll see that moments before his and Martinez's death, many samples within Birkin's briefcase were shattered. One of these being a sample of the T virus that was spreading to Raccoon City's drinking water and was also consumed by rats in the sewers, causing them to mutate. This would be the beginning of the viral outbreak in Raccoon City. Over the next 2 days, Hunk would be trying to survive an increasingly hostile city, whilst trying to make contact with Nighthawk, who was in charge of extracting the squad once their mission was complete. After Nighthawk was finally able to make contact with Hunk, a decision was made that he would be picked up just outside of the Raccoon City police station, and with one final struggle through the city, Hunk was extracted, and the mission had been a success, although barely. By the end of the mission, only Hunk and Nighthawk were confirmed to have survived, with Goblin 6's current state being unknown, although it's believed that she most likely would have died from her injuries or had been killed by the mutated creatures that were now occupying the sewers. There isn't really any information on what Nighthawk's been up to since Operation Nestwrecker. The only other appearance he's made was in Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, but this game isn't canon to the story. As for the Grim Reaper, maybe he deserves his own video. Hope you all enjoyed the video. I haven't had the chance to upload in almost a month, so I'm planning to get out a few videos during the next couple of weeks. So if you enjoyed today's content, then please consider subscribing for more like it. Have a good one.